88 days and counting, and Kamala still hasn't visited the border. It's almost like she doesn't even care. Well, and salutations, my lovely little lunatics. It's me, your friend leader, to talk about insanity. Here with my co-host, Bob.
Hello.
And today on the ENSane Report, we're gonna be talking about how poor Kamala really is having a tough time.
Yeah. Though she does deserve it.
She does, but anywho, before we begin, make sure to like and subscribe and follow us on Rumble,
Mines.
PocketNet,
And locals.
So, Kamala was given the responsibility as vice president and the border czar to take care of the massive issue that Biden has wrought upon us here in the lower states. Because, as always, they were saying, like, we're going to make all 11 million illegal immigrants legal. And they were just constantly talking about how Trump is a racist for the border wall, and now they're continuing the border wall.
And then she was actually during her campaign, she was talking about how horrible it was that people weren't being allowed in, and now she recently had to come out and say, do not come in.
Yeah, then she went to Guatemala, and people didn't like her there. But anywho, let's get to the article, shall we? Oh no! This always happens. I get rid of one article, and I forget to put up the next one. Boop! There we are. From the Daily Mail. House Republicans demand Joe Biden remove Kamala Harris as immigration crisis czar, as she still hasn't visited the border or met with CBP agents in 85 days. This, however, was 3 days ago, so now it's 88 days. The 56 lawmakers, led by Republican Glenn Gorthman, Republican from Wisconsin, penned a letter on Thursday with the scathing review of Harris's performance. Harris tapped on March 24th to lead the administration's response to the immigration crisis at the southern border. As noted by Fox News, Harris recently visited Guatemala and Mexico, where she met with leaders but still have not visited the U.S. border. So, a group of House Republicans have demanded that the President Joe Biden remove Vice President Kamala Harris as the czar after so many days. Scathing, that's what we heard. Despite being in the midst of a border crisis this country has not seen in 2 decades, Vice President Harris has not yet shown adequate interest in observing this crisis firsthand.
No, she just laughs.
I have no answer, so I will laugh. In the 85 days since the Vice President has been tasked with solving the crisis, she has yet to visit the border and meet with Border Patrol agents, Immigration and Custom Enforcement, ICE, officials and local law enforcement officials. Now, weren't they actually moving people places?
Yeah, they were putting kids on planes and shipping them out across the country, hoping no one would notice.
We did! As noted by Fox News, Harris recently visited Guatemala and Mexico, where she met with leaders but has still not visited the U.S. border. Republicans claim it is important for her to actually go to the border for her to truly understand problems with illegal immigration.
Yeah, the kids in cages thing is hilarious.
Yes, it's not kids in cages anymore, Bob. It's something doesn't sound bad center. Republicans... Okay, yeah. The GOP has blamed Biden's administration rolling back of Trump-era policies for the recent surges of illegal immigration at the southern border. It's true. The 56 Republicans claim that the exclusive focus on Central American countries ignores the fact that we see many migrants attempting to illegally cross our southern border from countries all over the world, including Russia, Brazil, Cuba, and Haiti. That is true. They will literally fly to areas so that they can walk the rest of the way through places that are actually okay to live in.
Like Mexico.
Yeah, what was that? The one bill that if you had to travel through other places to get to us, then you shouldn't be allowed in.
Yeah, I think they rolled that back.
Of course they did. We are also aware of no dramatic changes in Central American countries over the last few months that would result in such a wide gap of encounters at the southern border compared to last year. But yeah, no, nothing over there, it's over here. So, yeah. The VP still hasn't visited the border. You can't truly know the situation until you speak with people on the ground. I and 55 of my colleagues sent a letter to the President of the United States demanding her removal from this position because 180,000 encounters, a 21-year high, is unacceptable. Now, see, and it just gets worse.
Yep. Has Biden actually done anything good?
Maybe, but nothing comes to mind. There we go, another one from the Daily Mail. Biden administration returns $2 billion set aside for Trump's border wall despite the 674% increase in crossings in this last year. And he also talked, I don't know if he's decided not to continue building the wall, but White House said it was returning $2 billion that had been diverted from the Pentagon for wall construction. Why? You're already printing trillions. What's the $2 billion that was already going there?
Well, we can't have anything being done to make Trump look good.
And yet they are. And yet they are. Announcement comes after U.S. Customs and Border Protection said agents stopped 180,034 people in May. Let that settle in.
That is terrifying.
It truly is. That represented a 674% increase on the same month in 2020. Former VP Mike Pence taunted his successor, posting photographs of a visit he made to the border. Kamala Harris is under intense pressure to make the trip to see for herself what is happening. Of course, now this just kind of goes back. Talking about that. And this is another funny bit.
Trump announces he will go to the border with Texas Governor Greg Abbott on June 30th, so 8 days, and slams Biden and Harris for refusing to visit the wreck they created.
And it was them who created this mess. Trump released a statement Tuesday saying that he had accepted Abbott's invitation, then tore into Biden-Harris administration for refusing to visit. Yeah, if the former president gets there before the person who's actually supposed to be in charge of taking care of the situation,
it's really hilarious.
It is. The former president said Biden had dismantled the secure border he had ensured. And as much as you don't like Trump, he did good on that fact. He did real good.
Yeah, the stay in Mexico, building of the wall, and making sure that just people realized you weren't allowed in.
Yeah, no, when everything happened and he just shut down the border.
Yeah, because, it's the CCP-19. Oh, yeah, all the people coming in, there are, 100 cases of people who have CCP-19 and were still allowed in, and then we never heard from them again?
Yeah, it's kind of scary, ain't it? For all the lefties screaming about how evil and terrifying the CCP-19 is. Apparently, it's not bad if you're not an American. Biden and Harris have handed control of our border over to cartels, criminals, and coyotes, Trump said. True. Our nation is now one giant sanctuary city where even dangerous criminals are being cut loose, he added. Trump's planned trip was revealed just days after Abbott said he would be restarting building the border wall, which leads us into the next story. Abbott's just pulling out them wins.
Yeah, especially after the 7 bills he signed in.
Yes. Texas will become a Second Amendment sanctuary state.
Also the suppressors.
Oh, that's going to be a good one. Hopefully prices will go down because now we don't need to deal with the NFA, which means people will buy more suppressors so they don't have to spend so much on selling the few suppressors that they actually do.
They still sell a decent amount of suppressors.
Yes, but now imagine how many more people will buy them.
Yeah, that will lower costs, hopefully.
Texas will build a border wall. Governor Greg Abbott pledges to build border barriers along the state's Mexican border and arrest migrants after Biden suspended funding for Trump's project. Oh, so they did suspend it.
Yeah, which is weird because they talked about putting it in key locations.
Well, maybe he got enough backlash and he was just, I don't care about those people. Abbott made the announcement during a press conference on Thursday night. He later told Fox News from Southern Del Rio, we have to build a border wall. In his first month in office, President Biden paused construction on Trump's wall, but as the number of illegal immigrants at the southern border reaches a 20-year highs, The decision to pause the construction has been criticized by many in the GOP and us who actually live down here. So, next, Abbott, this is from Fox. Abbott launches Texas border wall project with $250 million down payment. Texas governor accused Biden's administration of abandoning its border responsibilities. And they have. They just have. Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Wednesday formally announced that Texas will build its own border wall. We have to protect our own state if the federal government ain't gonna do it.
We should really, honestly, just take the federal taxes that we would send them and use that.
Yeah, I believe so. We're using it to defend our nation and our state. Announced that Texas will build its own border wall as he accused the Biden administration of abandoning its responsibilities to protect the southern U.S. border. Today, we are announcing that Texas will build a border wall in our state to help secure the border, Abbott said at a press conference. Abbott also announced a $250 million down payment to begin the project, allowing the state to hire a project manager and get the task underway. He said that it would be built on a combination of state land and donations of private land.
I'm betting those private owners are really liking this.
Yeah, I imagine they would, because now they're sure, they have to donate a little bit of land, but the land right behind that's theirs will be actually protected.
And partially funded by donations.
Okay, you want to continue?
Yes. My belief, based upon conversations that I've already had, is a combination of state land as well as volunteered land will yield hundreds of miles to build a wall in the state of Texas. The Dallas Morning News later reported that the down payment will come from the state's Department of Criminal Justice. More than 450 miles of border wall, including in Texas, was built during the Trump administration. The construction was suddenly halted by the Biden administration because they actually want illegals to come in and hope that they vote for them, under the thought that, hey, you may become a citizen. Shortly after President Biden took office, opponents of the wall construction said it was cruel and ineffective, while proponents said it was a vital part of the border strategy to stop the flow of illegal immigration. Critics of Biden administration, including Abbott, have accused the federal government of encouraging the recent surge in illegal migration to the border with open border policies like stopping the wall construction and rolling back Trump-era policies like the migrant protection protocols. Make no mistake, the border crisis that we're dealing with right now is a direct result of the open border policies that have been put in place by the Biden administration.
Okay, not much longer. Abbott said that the border states like Texas have seen carnage from people coming over. Yeah, like when they were just throwing kids over the wall and then they would fall and they'd travel across the desert because they'll be fine. People will find them.
And then they die.
Yes, he said that in the first 4 months of the year, Texas Department of Public Safety saw an 800% increase in the amount of fentanyl apprehended at the border. Thanks, Biden. Enough to kill more than 20 million Americans. Homes are being invaded, neighborhoods are dangerous, and people are being threatened on a daily basis with guns by people coming across the border or those working with those coming across the border.
Well, why don't we just ban guns?
Yes, because if we ban the guns, then the criminals will follow that law, right? Right? Ha! The announcement comes as the surge of immigration continues, with more than 180,000 migrants encountered in May alone. And with summer months still ahead, Biden administration has blamed the spike on root causes like violence, poverty, and climate change in Central America, while downplaying the role of relaxing of restrictions and enforcement has had on the surge. Yeah, it's everyone else. It's the world's problem. It's not us. We didn't do anything by saying you're not going to be thrown back. That if you get in before a certain time, you're probably going to become a legal citizen. Vice President Kamala, who has been criticized for not visiting the border, told migrants in Guatemala last week do not come after Guatemalan president said that the administration's messaging was partly responsible for the crisis. On Wednesday, Abbott said that the Biden administration has abandoned its responsibility to apply federal law to secure the border and enforce the immigration laws. In the federal government's absence, Texas is stepping up to get the job done. Good job, Abbott. Good job. You haven't always been the best, but hey, with the 2A stuff and this, You're making us Texans proud.
Hopefully it all goes smoothly.
At this point, I just kind of want it to go.
Yeah.
Anywho, that'll be the end of this little video. If you like this video, then check the like button and subscribe for more.
Insanity.
And I will see you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.